The fluorescent lights of the gym buzzed like angry hornets as I slammed the locker door, my knuckles white from gripping it too hard. Sweat still clung to my skin, mixing with the sharp sting of betrayal that hit me harder than any opponent's elbow in the paint. "You're my brother, man?" Jake had just whispered, his voice cracking like thunder in the empty echo of the showers. But the way his eyes darted away told me everything. Our secret was out, and it was my fault. I froze in the doorway of the practice facility, heart pounding like I'd just run suicides for an hour straight, staring at the rain-slicked parking lot where our beat-up Jeep waited like a getaway car from a heist gone wrong. Jake's confession hung in the air between us, heavier than the championship trophy we'd chased all season. And in that split second, I realized the surprise wasn't the kiss. It was the lie we'd both been living. New York City in late fall was a beast. All crisp wind slicing through your jacket and the distant wail of sirens reminding you that nothing here stayed buried for long. I'd grown up in the shadow of the Brooklyn Bridge, dodging potholes and dreams in a cramped apartment where my mom worked double shifts at the diner to keep the lights on. Basketball was my escape, my ticket out, the way I'd carve through defenders like they were made of smoke, feeling invincible under those arena lights. Columbia University had scouted me senior year, a full ride that felt like winning the lottery. But even there, in the ivy-covered halls and packed dorms, I carried the weight of who I was. Gay, in a world of locker-room bravado and high-fives that lingered just a beat too long. I'd learned early to keep it locked down, to laugh at the jokes, to blend into the straitjacket uniformity of team life. Jake Harlan was the golden boy, the straight-arrow point guard who'd transferred in from UCLA after some family drama back west. 6'2", with that effortless surfer mop of blonde hair and a smile that could disarm a defense or a doubter. We clicked from day one, him with his easy California drawl, me with my sharp Brooklyn edge. Practices turned into late-night runs to the halal cart on Amsterdam, scarfing down lamb over rice while dissecting plays. He was the brother I never had, the one who dragged me to Mets games and badged me into his off-campus loft when the dorms got too claustrophobic. Straight as an arrow, or so I thought. Girls threw themselves at him. Cheerleaders, art majors, that barista from Joe Coffee with the septum piercing. But Jake always played it cool, like commitment was a foul he'd rather avoid. That Thursday after practice, the air in Morningside Heights was electric. The kind of autumn bite that made you zip your hoodie to your chin and hustle for warmth. Coach had run us ragged. 2 hours of suicide drills and pick and rolls until my quads burned like they'd been dipped in lava. The team filed out, slapping towels and hollering about hitting the bars. But Jake caught my elbow as I laced up my sneakers. "Hey, Eli, you down for some retail therapy? My sister's in town tomorrow. Needs a birthday gift, and I'm hopeless at this shit." I shot him a grin, wiping sweat from my brow. "Retail therapy? Man, you sound like one of those influencer chicks. What's next? Face masks and mimosas." He laughed, that deep rumble that always loosened the knot in my chest. "Fuck off. Come on, it'll be quick. There's that spot in Soho, Urban Outfitters or whatever. You got better taste than me." I shrugged, grabbing my duffel. Why not? It beat another night scrolling Grindr in the dark, swiping left on ghosts who wanted everything but the truth. We piled into his Jeep, the engine growling to life as he cranked up some indie playlist. Bon Iver crooning about skin and bones. Traffic on the West Side Highway was a nightmare, horns blaring like the city's perpetual migraine. But Jake navigated it with that zen calm, one hand on the wheel, the other drumming the dash. "You ever think about after this?" he asked out of nowhere, eyes on the road. "Like post-grad? NBA dreams or what?" I leaned back, watching the Hudson blur by in streaks of gray and gold. "Every damn day. But reality's a bitch. Scouts say I'm too short for pro, too gritty for the Euroleagues. Might end up coaching high school kids in Queens, yelling at refs who don't give a shit." "Nah," he said, glancing over with that intensity he got during free throws. "You're better than that, Eli. You've got fire. We'll figure it out." It was always we with Jake. Study sessions bleeding into all-nighters, him crashing on my futon after a loss, our laughter echoing off cinder block walls. It was the closest I'd come to letting someone in without the full reveal, the gay kid from the projects who dreamed in rainbows but lived in camouflage. Soho hit us like a fever dream, cobblestone streets lined with galleries and boutiques, the air thick with espresso and pretension. Holiday lights were already twinkling in the windows, early bloomers fighting the encroaching dusk. We ducked into a menswear shop first, some hipster haven called Thread and Bone. Racks of flannel and slim-fit jeans that screamed, "Trust Fund Creative." Jake rifled through hoodies, holding up a navy one with a subtle mountain graphic. "This for Mia? She's all outdoorsy now, hiking bullshit." I smirked, fingering the fabric. "Yeah, looks like her vibe. Get it in medium. She's tiny like you." He elbowed me, playful. "Watch it, short stack." At 6'1", I had an inch on him, but he never let me forget the endless ribbing about my Brooklyn compact build. We wandered deeper, the store's indie rock soundtrack pulsing low. I spotted a leather bracelet on a display. Simple, braided cord with a silver clasp, the kind that whispered adventure without shouting. "What about this?" I said, sliding it onto my wrist to test the fit. Felt right, grounding. Jake's eyes lingered a second too long. "Yeah, that's you. Get it." "For me? Nah. Birthday shopping, remember?" He shrugged, but there was a flicker in his gaze, something unspoken. "Treat yourself. You deserve it." Heat crept up my neck, and I busied myself with the price tag. $40, a splurge on my ramen budget. But his words stuck, warm like the steam from a street vendor's cart outside. We checked out, bags rustling as we spilled onto Prince Street, the city alive with after-work crowds. "Tacos?" Jake suggested, nodding toward a truck parked crookedly, neon sign flickering Los Tacos #1. "Hell yes." We grabbed El Pastor on corn tortillas, lime zinging sharp against the spice, leaning against a lamppost like we owned the block. Conversation flowed easy, teammate drama, Rico's latest hookup fail, coach's divorce whispers, that viral clip of a WNBA crossover that had us both geeking out. Jake's laugh boomed, drawing smiles from passers-by, and for a moment, it was perfect. No secrets, no scans for judgment. Just us, in the heart of Manhattan, chasing normalcy. But normalcy's a fragile thing. As we polished off the last bites, wiping grease on our jeans, Jake's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, face tightening like he'd bitten into something sour. "Shit, it's my dad." I raised a brow. "The Admiral? What's he want?" "A status report on your jump shot." Jake's family was old money Navy. Dad a retired brass hat stationed in Norfolk. Mom the socialite who summered in the Hamptons. Jake had bailed on UCLA after some blow-up, vague stories about expectations and not measuring up. He pocketed the phone without answering. Nothing, just checking in. The lie hung there, thin as the November chill. I let it slide, we all had our ghosts. Instead, I steered us toward a bookstore down the block, that massive 3-story behemoth with creaky floors and the smell of aged paper. "Come on, distraction time. You need a book for Mia too, right? Something literary to balance the hoodie." Inside, it was a sanctuary. Shelves towering like ancient oaks, holiday displays of twinkle-lit classics. We split up, me drifting to the LGBTQ+ section tucked in the back, a quiet rebellion in the stacks. I traced spines, Audre Lorde, James Baldwin. Fingers lingering on Giovanni's Room, that gut punch of hidden love in Paris. It mirrored too much the ache of wanting what you couldn't name. Jake found me there, a dog-eared copy of the Song of Achilles in his hand. "This any good? Mythology shit, but gay heroes or whatever." My throat tightened. "Yeah. Beautiful. Heartbreaking." He flipped it open, scanning a page. "Cool. Mia's into that epic stuff." But his voice was soft, eyes not quite meeting mine. We bought it, plus my bracelet, and stepped back into the fray, the city lights now fully ignited, casting long shadows. That's when it cracked open. We were cutting through Washington Square Park, arches looming like stone guardians, street performers juggling fire to the strum of a guitar. Jake stopped under a ginkgo tree, leaves gold and brittle at our feet. "Eli, I need to tell you something." My pulse kicked up, the air suddenly too thin. Yeah? Shoot. He ran a hand through his hair, that telltale sign of nerves. Remember that night after the Syracuse game? When we crashed at my place? Got wrecked on that cheap tequila? I nodded, memories flooding. Stadium roar fading to laughter on his couch. Shots burning down easy. His arms slung heavy across my shoulders as we stumbled to bed. Separate rooms, but close enough to hear his breathing through the wall. You passed out first, he said, voice low. I couldn't sleep, kept thinking about you. How you're the only one who gets it, you know. No bullshit, just real. Warmth bloomed in my chest, dangerous and sweet. Jake, you're my best friend. Of course I get it. He stepped closer, the park's hum fading to a distant buzz. His hand found mine, tentative, calluses rough from dribbles and drives. No, man, it's more. I'm not straight. Or, shit, maybe I am, but with you, it's different. I've been fighting it since freshman orientation. When you schooled me in HORSE and grinned like you owned the world. The world tilted. His words crashed over me. Relief, terror, a joy so sharp it cut. Jake, what? He leaned in, breath warm against my ear. I like you, Eli. More than brothers. That surprise? It's me, finally saying it. His lips brushed mine then, soft and urgent, tasting of lime and courage. The park spun, ginkgo leaves swirling like confetti in a dream. I kissed back, hands fisting his jacket, the city vanishing in that electric press. But nothing in New York stays secret long. As we pulled apart, breathless and grinning like idiots, a flash pierced the dusk. A phone camera, held by a figure half hidden in the shadows. Rico, our teammate, smirking like he'd struck gold. Holy shit, boys, this is going viral. The hook yanked tight, betrayal's first sting. Rico's laugh echoed off the park's arches like a bad omen. His phone still raised, screen glowing with the frozen frame of us. Jake's hand on my neck, my eyes half closed in that vulnerable surrender. You too? For real? This is comedy gold. Coach is gonna lose his mind. Jake's face drained of color, his grip on my arm tightening like a vice. Delete it, Rico. Now. But Rico was already backing away, that cocky swagger in full effect, weaving through a cluster of chess hustlers under the Washington Square monument. Chill, Harlan. Just sharing the love with the group chat. Brothers before. Whatever this is. He winked, vanishing into the throng of dog walkers and NYU kids nursing coffees. My stomach plummeted, the kisses' afterglow curdling into ice. Fuck. The team. They'll eat us alive. Jake spun on me, eyes wild. We tell them our way. Come on. He grabbed my hand. Bold, reckless. And we bolted, sneakers pounding pavement slick with fallen leaves. The park's fountain splashing mocking applause behind us. We didn't stop until Broadway's neon swallowed us. Dive bars and delis blurring into a frantic haze. The Jeep was blocks away, but Jake hailed a cab instead. Yellow beast screeching to the curb. Upper West Side. Fast. In the back seat, knees knocking, we sat silent, the cabbie's radio droning traffic updates. Jake's thumb traced circles on my palm, a lifeline in the storm. I'm sorry, he murmured. I should have waited. Somewhere safe. Safe, I echoed, bitter laugh escaping. In this city? Nowhere's safe for us. But even as I said it, his touch grounded me. The same hand that fed me perfect assists on the court, now anchoring something deeper. My phone buzzed first, a barrage of notifications lighting up like flares. Group chat exploding. Memes of us edited onto rom-com posters, eggplant emojis raining down. The worst from Derek, our center. Harlan's got game off the court too? Face with tears of joy basketball eggplant. Then the voice notes. Rico's gleeful recap. Teammates howling in the background. Eli's the bottom bet. Who's got the popcorn? I powered it off, nausea rising. Jake's was next, his face a mask of fury as he scrolled. Dad. Voicemail already. What the hell is this? Jacob? Call me. The cab lurched to a stop outside his loft building. A pre-war walk-up on West 79th with fire escapes like iron lace. We tumbled out, tipping the driver double in our haste, and rode the groaning elevator in suffocating quiet. Inside, the place was Jake's chaos, surf posters peeling from California walls, basketballs scattered like forgotten planets, a half-eaten pizza box on the coffee table from last week's binge watch. He paced the living room, phone clutched like a grenade. I call a team meeting. Own it. We're not hiding. I sank onto the couch, head in hands. Own what? We're not even official. One kiss in the park, and now we're the punchline. He dropped to his knees in front of me, hands on my thighs, intimate, unyielding. Then let's make it official. Eli, I've spent years bullshitting myself. Dates with girls that went nowhere, telling myself it was stress or whatever. But it's you. Always has been. That night after tequila? I almost said it then, but chickened out. His eyes, blue as a summer sky over the Palisades, held mine without flinching. Vulnerability cracked his golden boy armor, revealing the boy who'd fled his family's rigid expectations, chasing freedom in New York's unforgiving sprawl. I love you, man. Not brother love. The real deal. The words hit like a fast break. Dizzying, exhilarating. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing stubble. I love you too, Jake. God have for months. But this, the team's my family. If they turn, they won't. He kissed me again, slower this time, the loft's dim lamp casting our shadows long and tangled on the hardwood. It was tentative exploration, lips parting, breaths mingling, his fingers threading my hair. No rush, just the quiet build of something long denied. When we broke, foreheads pressed, he whispered, "We'll fight for it. Together." We crashed there that night, side by side on his queen bed, the city humming beyond the sash windows. Sleep came fitful, dreams of locker room jeers morphing into my mom's disappointed sigh, the project's graffiti walls closing in. Morning light filtered gray through rain-streaked glass, and Jake was already up, brewing coffee in a pot that gurgled like an old friend. Team practice at noon, he said, handing me a mug, black, 2 sugars just right. We face it head-on. I nodded, steeling myself. But as we suited up, his Columbia hoodie over my Lions tee, the texts kept coming. Not just memes now. Derek's WTF. You okay? And a private from Coach. My office, 10 a.m. Both of you. The athletic center loomed like a coliseum, glass facade reflecting our tense approach. Inside, the weight room clanged with early birds, but Coach's office was a vault of trophies and tension. He was ex-Marine, buzzcut and broad as a door, but his eyes softened when we filed in, shutting the door with a click. Sit. Paperwork shuffled under his meaty hands. Saw the footage. Kids these days and their damn phones. Jake stiffened beside me. Sir, it's... He held up a palm. Not here for a lecture. Harlan, your old man's already blown up my line. Apologies, by the way. But this team's about unity. You too. Whatever this is, it doesn't change your jump shots or heart on the floor. Just keep it professional. No drama in my gym. Relief flooded. Tentative. So, you're cool. Coach grunted, a half-smile cracking. Cool? Hell, I played with a guy in '92 who came out mid-season. We won conference. Love's love. But if it affects the game. His gaze sharpened. Don't let it. We escaped lighter, high-fiving in the hall like we dodged a bullet. But the locker room was a minefield. Teammates clustered by the benches, eyes darting, whispers dying as we entered. Rico leaned against his locker, arms crossed, that smirk dialed to 11. Lovebirds. How's the honeymoon? Snickers rippled, but Jake stepped forward, voice steady. Cut the shit, Rico. Yeah, Eli and I are together. Deal with it or don't. But you're not gonna make it weird. Silence stretched, thick as fog. Then Derek clapped, slow and deliberate. About time, man. You 2ve been eye-fucking since September. Laughter broke, genuine this time, tension fracturing like ice under spring thaw. Even Rico deflated, muttering, whatever, Congrats or some shit. It wasn't perfect. Stares lingered, jokes barbed at the edges, but it was survival. Practice flew by in a blur of drills and drives. Jake's passes finding me like they were magnetized, our rhythm unbroken. Afterward, as we toweled off, he bumped my shoulder. See? We got this. But betrayal's shadow lingered. That night, alone in my dorm, scrolling news on my phone, a knot twisted. Jake's dad, admiral with connections, the kind that could yank scholarships or tank reputations. And Rico's viral promise? It had stayed contained. But for how long? Friday dawned brittle, skies dumping sleet that turned the quad to slush. Jake texted, Mia in from Boston. Dinner at my place? Family style. I hesitated. Meeting the sister, stepping into his world, but typed back. Wouldn't miss it. His loft transformed. String lights draped the beams. Mia's laughter bubbling from the kitchen, where she chopped cilantro with theatrical flair. She was a whirlwind, petite, freckled, with Jake's eyes and a psych grad student's sharp wit. So you're the famous Eli, she said, hugging me like we'd known each other forever. Jake's nonstop. Eli this, Eli that. Finally, a face. Blush heated my cheeks, but Jake just grinned, uncorking a cheap Chianti. Dinner was tacos from a kit, ground beef sizzling, toppings in mismatched bowls, eaten cross-legged on the rug, stories flowing like the wine. Mia grilled me on Brooklyn lore, Jake interjecting with exaggerated tales of my streetball wizardry. For hours it felt normal family, the kind I'd craved since my dad bailed when I was 10. Then her phone pinged, face falling. Dad, he's asking about you, Jake. Saw something online. The room chilled. Jake's fork clattered. What? She slid it over. A screenshot from some conservative blog. Columbia Hoops scandal. Starguard in gay fling? Grainy Park photo, our names dragged through the mud. Comments below. Disgrace to the uniform. Pray for him. Jake's jaw clenched. Rico. That fucker leaked it wider. Mia reached for his hand. Call him off. Or, Dad. He loves you, idiot. But love in the Harlan house was conditional, a medal pinned for straight-A obedience. Jake stormed to the window, city lights mocking below. He'll cut me off. The trust, the loft, everything. I stood, wrapping arms around him from behind. Then we build our own. Screw the money. He turned, burying his face in my shoulder. I can't lose you in this. You won't. Mia nodded, fierce. We're Harlans. We fight dirty if we have to. But the fight escalated. By Monday, campus buzzed. Whispers in lecture halls. A protest flyer from some religious group taped to the gym door. No place for sin in sports. Coach called another meeting, this time with the AD, suits and stern faces circling like sharks. PR nightmare, the dean droned. We support diversity, but donors are twitchy. Keep your heads down. Jake exploded. Our heads? This is our lives. I pulled him back, heart fracturing at his raw pain. Outside, rain lashed the windows, mirroring the storm inside. We'll transfer, or quit, whatever it takes. No, his eyes burned. This is our story, Eli. We don't run. The weeks blurred into a gauntlet, each day a fresh skirmish in the war for normal. Campus life turned surreal. Professors averting eyes in queer-lit seminar. Baristas comping our lattes with awkward thumbs-ups. Strangers stopping Jake on the subway to mutter courage or freak. The team held, mostly. Derek became our unofficial bodyguard, shutting down hecklers with his 220 frame, while Rico slunk into sullen silence, his leak backfiring when coach benched him for team disruption. But the real blade was Jake's family. Admiral Harlan arrived unannounced that Thursday, striding into the athletic center like he owned it. Crisp khakis, buzz-cut iron gray, the posture of a man who'd commanded carriers. I was shooting free throws when he cornered Jake by the bleachers, voice a low rumble that carried. This phase ends now, son. I've spoken to the dean. Options, therapy, or you're out. Jake's dribble faltered, ball thudding uneven. Therapy? Dad. It's not. Save it. The Admiral's gaze flicked to me, cold appraisal. And you? Stay away. He's got a future. Heat surged, but I held position, arc steady. Swish. With all due respect, sir, his future's his call. He snorted, turning back to Jake. Midnight deadline. Wires waiting. Then he was gone, door slamming like a gavel. Jake crumpled onto the bench, head bowed. I sat beside him, silent until the gym emptied. He means it. The money, it's leverage. Mom's too scared to push back. Then let him pull it. I laced fingers with his. We'll couch surf, sling burgers. I've done worse. He laughed, hollow. Brooklyn tough, huh? But Mia, she'd be collateral. We drove to her Airbnb that night. A shoebox in Harlem with exposed brick and plants everywhere. She hugged him fierce. Then me, like I was already blood. Fuck him, she said over takeout Thai, green curry steaming. I dipped into my savings. Roommates till spring. Jake's relief was palpable, but the betrayal festered. Texts from old UCLA buddies dried up. His Instagram, once flooded with likes, now a graveyard of unfollows. I watched him shrink, that boundless energy dimming, passes in practice gone lazy. It's poison, he confessed one night, rain pattering the loft window as we lay tangled under quilts. Like he's erasing me. I traced his jaw, whispering stories of my own ghosts. First crush crushed by a bully's fist. Mom's quiet acceptance when I came out at 16. Her words, baby, love whoever lights your fire. Just come home warm. It helped, a little, his breathing evening against my neck. But climax brewed in the shadows. December loomed. Finals a pressure cooker. Our game against Princeton the make or break for playoffs. Scouting reports pegged us underdogs. But with Jake's vision and my grit, we had a shot. Whispers of boycotts swirled. Alumni donors threatening pullouts. A rival coach sniping in pressers about distractions. Coach rallied us in film room, lights low, tape rolling. They want a spectacle? Give ying a show. Win ugly if you have to. The buildup was brutal, media vans circling the Palisades. A New York Post splash. Hoops of horror. Columbia's queer quagmire? Jake fielded calls from reporters. Voice clipped. We're here to ball. Next question. I dodged them, channeling rage into layups that rattled rims. Christmas Eve, we escaped to my mom's in bed-stewie. Brownstone stoop dusted with snow, string lights twinkling like defiant stars. She enveloped us in hugs scented with cocoa and cinnamon. No questions, just extra plates at the table. My boys, she said, passing mashed potatoes, her diner-weary hands gentle. Jake thawed under her stories. Tales of 80s block parties. My dad's fleeting charm before he ghosted. Love's a gamble, Mijo, she told him over eggnog. But the house always wins if you fold early. He squeezed my knee under the table, eyes misty. Thanks, Mrs. R, for everything. Call me Rosa. And honey, you're family now. That night, in my childhood twin bed pushed against the wall, we made love. Not urgent, but reverent. Hands mapping scars and freckles. Whispers of promises in the dark. It was our first full night, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces long lost. Afterward, curled close, Jake murmured, This is worth the war. But war escalated. Princeton tip-off was electric. Jadwin Gym a cauldron of orange and black faithful. Banners waving like battle flags. We trailed by 8 at half, Jake's shots clanging iron. My drive stuffed by their 7-footer. Locker room reeked of sweat and icy hot. Coach's clipboard splintering against the board. Harlan, wake the fuck up. Jake nodded, but his eyes were haunted. Phone vibrating nonstop in his bag. Dad's number, relentless. I cornered him by the sinks. Block it. For us. He did, silencing the beast. Third quarter, we ignited me slashing baseline for a reverse, Jake threading needles through double teams. Crowd's boos morphed to reluctant cheers as we clawed back. Tie at 72 with seconds left. Timeout huddle tight. Inbounds to Eli. Screen right. Go. Ball in my hands. Clock ticking venomous. Jake set the pick, body shielding like a fortress. I curled, jumper arcing perfect, swish. Bedlam. We mobbed mid-court, his hug crushing. You did it! But as confetti rained, a shout pierced, faggots! It came from the stands, a knot of suits. Alumni, faces twisted. Security swarmed, but the venom spread, chants rippling. Jake froze, glory shattering. Not here. Not now. I yanked him toward the tunnel, teammates flanking like wolves. Ignore it. We won. But victory soured. Post-game presser. Mike's thrust like spears. Jake, does this relationship cost you focus? He fired back. It gives me focus. Next. I skipped it, pounding a trainer's bag in the back hall until knuckles bled. That night, alone in the hotel, team sent us separate for optics. Jake called, voice shattered. He's cutting me off. Official. Lofts in his name. I'm out by New Year's. Rage boiled. Then we go. Together. A pause. Heavy. Eli, I love you, but maybe space. To figure this without dragging you under. The line went dead. Betrayal's second strike. Self-inflicted, but no less sharp. I hurled the phone, glass cracking on the nightstand. He was running, scared of the fall, leaving me to catch the debris. Dawn broke gray over Philly, bus rumbling back to the city. I texted Mia, he's bailing. Help. She replied instant. On it. Meet at mine. Plan B. Harlem welcomed us with bitter coffee and blueprints. Mia's lease addendum. My dorm sublet. Job leads at a youth center for at-risk kids. He'll come around, she said, fierce. Harlans are stubborn, but you're his North Star. Stubborn, yes. Jake ghosted for days. Radio silence. Practices dodged with flu. Team noticed. Murmurs turning to concern. Derek cornered me post-drill. He okay? Looks like shit. Worse than flu. I spilled, raw. He clapped my back. We'll drag his ass back. Brothers. Remember? Christmas passed in a haze. Mom's tree twinkling solo. Her hand on mine. He'll see, baby. Real love bends. Doesn't break. But doubt gnawed. New Year's Eve loomed. Ball drop a countdown to what? Alone in the loft, he'd texted the code. I paced Persian rugs. Champagne uncorked but flat. Midnight struck. Fireworks blooming over the river. Door buzzed. Jake, snow-dusted, eyes red-rimmed. I was wrong. Can't do space. Can't do without you. He collapsed into me, sobs racking. Dad's done. But you're not. If you'll have me. I held him, world writing. Always. But climax crested cruel. January thawed to scandals freeze. Leaked emails from the Admiral to boosters. Clean house ultimatums. Protests swelled outside Levine Gym. Rainbow flags clashing with crosses. Our next game against Penn, broadcast nationwide, became ground zero. Tip-off under Klieg lights, arena split, half cheering, half jeering. We played possessed. Jake's threes raining fire. My blocks thunderous. But midway, a scuffle. Rico, fouled hard, shoving me with a hiss. Should have stayed in the closet, traitor. Fists flew. Mine connecting with his jaw, crowd roaring chaos. Ejection. Both benches cleared. Coach's bellow lost in the din tunnel vision. Security hauling us apart. Jake's scream. Enough! Suspended for the rematch, we licked wounds in the loft. Ice packs and apologies. Rico cracked first, showing up with bruised pride. Sorry, man. Jealous, I guess. You too. Real. Mine's fake as hell. Forgiveness came grudging, but human, hugs over beers. Stories swapped till dawn. Teams stronger fractured, Jake said. Like kintsugi. Gold in the breaks. Spring bloomed tentative. Playoffs a gauntlet we navigated bruised but bonded. Harvard in quarters. Overtime heartstopper. My buzzer beater etching legend. Semis against Yale. Jake's ankle twist nearly ending it. But we carried him literal and figurative. Finals versus Brown. Madison Square Gardens roar a cathedral hymn. Sold out, celebs and suites, our story the underdog epic. Tied at 80, final possession. Jake inbound, eyes locking mine across the chaos. For us. I screamed, curled fadeaway, leather slicing net, buzzer, champions, confetti apocalypse. His kiss amid the swarm, public, defiant. Cameras flashed, but we didn't care. Admiral watched from afar, uninvited, face unreadable. Later, a letter, proud, son. Unconditionally. Too late, or bridge. Graduation dawned sun-kissed, gowns billowing on the quad. Mom teared up, Mia hooped, team hoisted us on shoulders. Jake and I, hands clasped, diplomas in the other, his in kinesiology, mine in social work. What's next? He asked, under the Campanile's shadow. Us, I said. Coaching clinic in Brooklyn, your surf lessons in the Rockaways. Building. He grinned, that old spark. Human as hell. And in the humanism, the mess of love amid betrayal's scars, we found grace. Not fairy tale, but real. Two kids from different coasts, stitching a life from threads of courage and compromise. New York, eternal witness, hummed on. Summer unfurled like a promise kept, the city's concrete veins pulsing with possibility. Jake and I sublet a one-bedroom in Crown Heights. Exposed brick, fire escape herb garden. Rent split from his barista gigs and my shifts at the rec center. Mornings started with coffee on the stoop, watching bodega cats prowl, his head on my shoulder as we plotted. Clinic first, he'd say, sketching drills on napkins. Teach those kids heart, not just hooks. The Brooklyn Youth Program was my baby, partnered with a nonprofit, pulling at-risk teens off streets into gyms that smelled of rubber mats and second chances. Jake dove in, his easy charm disarming the tough ones, turning footwork lessons into talks on dreams deferred. We'd end days grease smeared from post-practice burgers at Shake Shack, laughing over close calls, like the time 14-year-old Jamal dunked on Jake, crowing, "White boy got hops," or when I botched a free throw demo, earning a chorus of "Coach Eli's got butterfingers," but scars itched. Jake's phone stayed dark, no Harlan holidays, just Mia's furtive visits with care packages of homemade jam and psych journals. "Dad's thawing," she'd report, stirring her tea. "Sent a check last week. No note. But it's something." "Something's not enough," Jake muttered. But I saw the flicker, hope treacherous. My mom folded him in seamless, Sunday suppers of pernil and platanos. Her wisdom dispensed like grace. Forgive slow, love fast. Life's too short for grudges. Nights were ours. Rooftop stargazing interrupted by distant sirens, or slow dances in the living room to Coltrane vinyls borrowed from the library. Intimacy deepened, not in fireworks but embers. His fingers tracing my collarbone as we whispered fears, my laughter pulling him from nightmares of Admiral's disapproval. "You're my anchor," he'd say, and I'd reply, "You're my wind." Fall crept back, crisp as fresh notebooks, with job offers landing like gentle rains. Me, assistant coach at a Queens charter school, molding mini MES with grit and grace. Jake, grad assistant at Columbia, parlaying his degree into PT sessions for the team, bridging old worlds on his terms. We celebrated at Veselka, pierogies drowning in sour cream, vodka shots clinking to new chapters. But conflict's embers smoldered. October brought homecoming, the campus a carnival of tailgates and triumphs. We attended Stag, team invite laced with nostalgia, but Rico's presence soured it, his new girlfriend clinging like a shield. Water under. He slurred over beers, but his eyes dodged, the leak's ghost lingering. Worse. A donor gala? Black tie schmooze where coach roped us in for good PR. Jake in a rented tux, me in thrift wool. We navigated champagne flutes and backslaps. Then the Admiral appeared, unbidden, impeccable in tails, Mia trailing apologetic. "Son." Jake stiffened, flute trembling. "Sir." A beat. Then, "May I speak?" Privately. I squeezed his hand. "Go, but I'm here," and watched them retreat to a balcony. City lights a glittering jury below. Minutes stretched eternal. Mia fidgeted, spilling. "He's trying, Eli. Therapy, the works. For Mom mostly, but it's cracking him open." When they returned, Jake's face was a map redrawn. lines softer, eyes wary but wet. He apologized. For the cut-off, the pressure. Wants to. Try. My heart clenched. Joy for him, terror for the fracture. And you. Boundaries. Lunch once a month. No strings. He pulled me close, whispering, "But you're the constant." The Admiral approached then, hand extended, not to command, but connect. "Eli, been reading your program stats. Impressive work." Thaw, tentative. "Thank you, sir. Means a lot." He nodded, gruff. "Call me Richard." And with that, the ice wall crumbled. Not in flood but drip. Winter holidays tested the mend. We hosted. Tiny tree in the corner. Lights tangled like our first awkward dates. Mom brought tamales. Mia her famous blondies, and Richard arrived with a bottle of single malt and a basketball, autographed by some Navy Academy legend. "For the clinic," he said, voice rough. Dinner was stilted at first. Small talk over turkey, Jake's knee bouncing under the table. But stories bridged. Richard's tales of Pacific deployments, my mom's diner disasters, laughter bubbling unexpected. Later, as snow dusted the fire escape, Richard pulled Jake aside. I eavesdropped from the kitchen, heart in throat. "I was wrong, boy. Feared you'd falter like I did, chose duty over heart. Lost your mother to it in pieces. Don't repeat my sins." Jake's voice cracked. "I won't, Dad. But Eli, he's my heart." A pause, then, "Good. Deserves a man who fights for him." Tears pricked my eyes. Human, flawed, fumbling toward light. Spring surged with renewal. Our 1-year mark marked quiet. Picnic in Prospect Park. Cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti. Rings exchanged. Not legal yet, but vowed. "Till the league calls or the world ends," Jake quipped, sliding a simple band on my finger. But drama's not done with us. May brought a curveball. UCLA scouts sniffing redemption, offering Jake a grad spot, full ride, surf proximity, family olive branch extended. "Go west, young man?" I teased over falafel, but doubt gnawed. Distance? After all? He saw it. "No. Here. With you. Brooklyn's home now." Relief, but the choice echoed, betrayal's echo, choosing love over legacy. Summer looped back, clinic thriving, kids blooming under our tandem coaching. Jamal's first scholarship offer, a tearful hug. "Y'all changed the game, coaches." We glowed, hands linked at the ceremony. Richard in the stands clapping steady. Yet humanism's core is the ache, the knowledge that endings aren't tidy. Richard's health dipped that August prostate scare, surgery looming. Jake flew solo to Norfolk, returning hollow-eyed but held. He's scared, asking about weddings, grandkids, thinks he's missing out. I held him through the sobs. He's not. We're the proof. Love reshapes everything. Fall semester dawned, routines settling like old friends. But a letter arrived, postmarked DC, official seal. Petition for same-sex marriage recognition, Columbia alumni pushing for campus ceremonies. Jake's eyes lit. What if? My breath caught. Hell yes. The wedding was small. Rooftop in June, cityscape witness. Mom's veil from her own day draped soft. Vows exchanged under string lights. In chaos and calm, I choose you. Richard walked him, tear-streaked. Mia officiated, voice steady. Team crashed the reception. Dance floor a whirlwind of bad two-steps and better toasts. After honeymoon in the Keys, borrowed condo, waves lapping like lullabies. We swam at dawn, bodies buoyant, futures vast. NBA for coaches? Jake mused, salt-crusted. World changers, I corrected. One kid, one game at a time. Back in Brooklyn, life layered, promotions, a dog, mutt named Swish. Mia's engagement announcement over brunch. Richard visited weekly, stories flowing freer. His admiral bark softening to grandfatherly rumble when neighborhood kids tagged along. Betrayals faded to footnotes. Rico's wedding invite, a peace offering we accepted. The old blog post, now a badge in Pride anthologies. Climax resolved not in thunder but quiet thunder. A family forged, not born. Years spun. Clinic to community center. our rings dulling gold but grip unyielding. Jake's PT practice boomed, knees mended citywide. I led the school's undefeated streak, banners draping halls. Mom retired to Florida, beach cottage funded by our kid savings. Richard followed, wintering near, chess matches with Jake a ritual. At 50, gray threading our temples, we stood at the bridge's shadow Brooklyn side, where it started. Surprised? He asked, hand warm in mine. Every day. Sunset bled orange, sirens a symphony. Human, messy, magnificent. Our story, etched in skyline steel. Love wins, not always easy, but always worth the fight. Decades wove their tapestry subtle, threads of joy and joss pulling taut. The center expanded, 2 gyms now, named Harlan Rivera Court, after a donor drive Jake charmed from skeptical suits. Kids cycled through, Jamal to Division I, a girl named Lena starting a girls' league that outdrew the boys. We'd watch from the bleachers, his arm around me, whispering bets on who'd hit the game winner. Richard's decline came gradual. Alzheimer's, the Admiral's commands fading to questions. Who's the boy with the blue eyes? Jake's smile patient. That's Eli, Dad, your son-in-law. Mia and her wife, Sarah, shared caregiving, rotating weekends to the assisted living in Jersey, puzzles and old war films the bomb. His lucidity peaks brought tears. Proud of you, son. Both of you. And we clung to them like lifelines. Mom passed in our early 40s, pancreatic shadow stealing quick. Her service packed the diner. Waitstaff in black, neighbors toasting with diner coffee. Jake eulogized, voice steady. Rosa taught me family's chosen. Love's the loudest rebellion. We scattered ashes by the Gowanus. Her laugh in the wind. Grief bonded us deeper. Nights raw with what-ifs dissolved in each other's arms. Therapy became ritual. Not crisis, but maintenance. A queer-affirming shrink in Chelsea, unpacking Admiral echoes, my abandonment scars. You're whole, she'd affirm, and we'd leave lighter, hands linked through the village's rainbow crosswalks. Career peaks crested. Jake's book, Court Vision. Healing Through Hoops, a PT Bible for athletes, TED Talk viral with 1 million views. Mine. Superintendent nod. Overhauling curricula for inclusive sports, TEDx on grit in the gray areas. We keynote together at conferences. Banter sharp. Eli's the muscle. I'm the brains. But conflicts whisper returned in our late 40s. A health scare. Jake's knee buckling post-marathon training. MRI revealing cartilage ghosts from college wars. Surgery loomed. His fear a quiet storm. What if I can't keep up? Drag you down. I knelt by the exam table like that first confession. We limped together. Remember. Recovery was hell, crutches clattering our stairs, PT sessions mirroring his old drills. I cooked bland broths. Read aloud from Baldwin till he slept. Mia flew in, Sarah with her therapist toolkit. Richard, in a rare clear hour, pinned a Navy commendation to Jake's pillow. For valor, son. He walked again, slower but sure. Our runs traded for bike paths along the Hudson. Intimacy evolved. Less fire, more hearth. Shared baths scented sage. Stories retold with new layers. 50s brought empty nest echoes. No bio kids, but legacies. God kids from the center. Mia's twins calling us Uncle Jelly. We mentored a cohort LGBTQ plus athletes navigating closets, our scars maps for their trails. One, a trans teen pitcher, hugged me post-college draft. You made space to breathe. Travel beckoned. Amalfi Cliffs echoing our vows. Tokyo's neon a nod to unspoken dreams. Back home, we renovated, kitchen gutted for wheelchair access, though Richard outlived the need, passing gentle at 86. Honors parade saluting his cortege. His will surprised. The loft, deeded to us a final amends. We kept it as guest space. Airbnb for queer travelers. Notes left. Love lived here. 60s dawned reflective, retirement partial, consulting gigs peppering days. Jake took up painting, abstracts of court chaos in blues and golds. I gardened the fire-escaped jungle, tomatoes ripening defiant. Health held, checkups routine, but anniversaries grew poignant. 30 years marked with a vow renewal at the park bench. Washington Square witness, Ginkgo descendants shading us. Drama crested subtle, a documentary pitch, unexpected play. The Harlan Rivera story, filmmakers hungry for our arc. We hesitated, reopening wounds, but agreed, conditions, no sensationalism, focus on humanism. Shoots span months. Archival footage of that park kiss, interviews with Rico, remorseful uncle now, coach, retired, teary, premiere at Tribeca, standing ovation, Jake's hand trembling in mine. We're immortal, he whispered. 70s brought frailties, my hip replacement, his cataracts blurring jumpers. We leaned. Home aids gentle, Mia's family orbiting close. Grand twins toddled in, chaos of blocks and babbles. Jake on the floor directing mini leagues. One autumn eve, under the bridge's glow. Our ritual walk, canes tapping sink. We paused, Hudson lapping secrets. Surprised still? He asked, voice gravel soft. Every breath. Wind stirred, carrying city pulse. Betrayals long composted, fertilizing this. Love's long game, won in increments. 80s whispered final acts, hospice planning pragmatic, legacies locked. Center endowment, book royalties to scholarships. Jake faded first, pneumonia swift after a cold snap. I held his hand, our rings clicking faint. His last words, best surprise. You. Funeral overflowed, alumni, kids now coaches. Richard's saber salute by proxy. I spoke last. He taught me victories in the assist. Widowhood hollowed, but humanism endured. Visits to the center, stories swapped with ghosts. At 90, under ginkgo gold, I felt him. We did good, partner. Life's curtain call nears, but the story lingers. Dramatic arcs bent romantic, suspense resolved in embrace. American as apple pie and underdogs. Gay love, gritty and golden, surprising us all.